Imagine growing up in one of Paris's toughest neighborhoods. No money, no connections, just a ball, a dream, and a hunger that never goes away. Now imagine at just 19 years old, scoring in a World Cup final. This is not a fairy tale. This is the story of Kylian Mbappé, the kid from Bondy who rewrote the rules of football forever. And in 2026? His story is far from over. Bondy, a working-class suburb northeast of Paris, part of the notorious Saint-Denis district, known for poverty, crime, and struggle. This is where Kylian Mbappé Latin was born on December 20, 1998. His father Wilfried, a Cameroonian immigrant, was a football coach at the local club AS Bondy, a team playing in the 10th tier of French football. His mother Faiza, of Algerian descent, was a professional handball player. Sport wasn't just a hobby in this family. It was everything. By the age of 4, Kylian was already kicking a ball under his father's watch at AS Bondy. His youth coach Antonio Riccardi later recalled, "I first coached Kylian when he was 6. You could tell he was different. He could do things other kids couldn't. He idolized Cristiano Ronaldo, trying to copy his every move. He wanted Zidane's haircut. He was cheeky, funny, always joking around. But the moment he stepped on a football pitch, everything changed. The streets of Bondy gave him hunger. His family gave him discipline. And his talent? That was God-given." Word spread fast. The kid from Bondy was special. He was selected to train at Clairefontaine, France's most elite football academy. The same institution that once produced Thierry Henry, Nicolas Anelka, and a generation of French legends. The coaches there had seen thousands of talented kids walk through those doors. But Mbappé? He was different. Not just fast, not just skillful. He understood the game at a level most adults never reach. Scouts from across Europe took notice. Manchester City made contact. Chelsea came knocking. Real Madrid invited him to train with their youth team when he was just 14 years old. Real Madrid. At 14. But he wasn't ready to leave France. Not yet. Instead, he signed with AS Monaco, and in December 2015, at just 16 years and 347 days old, he made his League One debut, breaking Thierry Henry's record as Monaco's youngest ever player. Then came the 2016-17 season. The season that changed everything. Monaco, a small club with a fraction of the budget of Europe's giants, went on the most thrilling Champions League run in years. They knocked out Manchester City. They eliminated Borussia Dortmund. They played football that made the whole of Europe stop and watch. And at the heart of it all, a 17-year-old boy who moved like lightning and scored like a veteran. That season, Mbappé scored 26 goals in all competitions, helped Monaco win the French title, and was named the best young player in Europe. The football world had a new name on its lips. And it wasn't going away. In the summer of 2017, PSG came calling. The offer was impossible to refuse. 180 million euros. Making Kylian Mbappé, aged just 18, the most expensive teenager in football history. Only Neymar's transfer that same summer cost more. To put that into perspective, clubs were paying the price of an entire stadium for a kid who couldn't yet rent a car. From the 10th tier of French football, to one of the most expensive players on the planet. In 12 years. At PSG, Mbappé was unstoppable. Season after season he piled up goals, assists and trophies. 6 League One titles. 4 Coupe de France medals. He broke the club's all-time scoring record, surpassing legends who had worn that shirt for over a decade. But behind the trophies, there was frustration building. PSG kept falling short in the Champions League, the one trophy that truly defines European greatness. Quarter-final exits. Round of 16 humiliations. The biggest stage in club football kept slipping away. Mbappé wanted more. He wanted the biggest challenges, the biggest stadiums, the biggest moments, and there was one club that had always been at the back of his mind. One club he had visited as a 14-year-old boy, walking through their training ground with wide eyes and a silent promise to himself. But first, there was a World Cup to win. 2018. Russia. The FIFA World Cup. Mbappé arrived as a teenager. He left as a legend. 4 goals in the tournament. A man-of-the-match performance against Argentina in the round of 16. A performance many still call one of the greatest individual World Cup displays ever. And then the final. France versus Croatia. The world watching. Mbappé scored. A 19-year-old scoring in a World Cup final. He became only the second teenager in history to do so. The first since a Brazilian kid named Pelé back in 1958. France lifted the trophy. And Kylian Mbappé, the boy from Bondy, stood on top of the world. But even then, as confetti rained down in Moscow, those who knew him best said the same thing. He's just getting started. 4 years later, Qatar 2022. France made it back to the final. Their opponents? Argentina. Lionel Messi's Argentina. The greatest player of his generation, desperate for the one trophy that had always escaped him. For 80 minutes, it looked like Messi would get his fairy tale. Argentina led 2-0. France were flat, disjointed, and running out of time. The trophy was being engraved with Argentina's name. And then, Mbappe. A penalty to make it 2-1. Then, 97 seconds later, an instinctive volley that left the goalkeeper helpless. 2-2, he had single-handedly dragged France back from the dead in under 2 minutes. Extra time. More drama. More Messi. Argentina took the lead again at 3-2. And again, Mbappe. Another penalty. His third goal of the game. 3-3. A hat-trick. In a World Cup final. The first player in history to ever achieve that. The match went to penalties. France lost. The trophy went to Argentina. To Messi. But Mbappe finished as the tournament's top scorer with 8 goals, winning the Golden Boot. He was 23 years old. He had just scored a hat-trick in a World Cup final and still ended up on the losing side. The football world couldn't decide. Whose tournament was it? Messi or Mbappe? History gave Messi the trophy. But the future? The future had only one answer. In the summer of 2024, it finally happened. The transfer the world had been waiting years for. PSG tried everything to keep him. There were contract offers worth hundreds of millions. There was political pressure. There were public arguments with club management. But Mbappe had made up his mind years ago. He signed for Real Madrid. For free. The club he had visited as a 14-year-old boy had waited patiently, and in the end, he walked through their doors on his own terms, with his head held high. And he hit the ground running. Playing alongside Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham, and the best squad in the world, Mbappe found a new level. In the 2025-26 season alone, he has already surpassed 40 goals in all competitions, wearing the iconic number 10 shirt at the Santiago Bernabéu. At 27 years old, he is playing the best football of his life. The kid from Bondy, who once drove a toy car to his father's training sessions, now drives the most famous football club on the planet forward. But even Real Madrid, even the Champions League, feels like preparation for what comes next. And now, June 2026. The FIFA World Cup. Hosted across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Mbappe is 27. In the prime of his career. Leading France. Hungry for the one thing that would cement his legacy above all others. A second World Cup title. In 1998, France won the World Cup the year Mbappe was born. Could 2026 be the year he wins it again? This time as the undisputed best player on earth? One tournament. One trophy. One destiny. The rise of Mbappe is not finished. It may only just be beginning. If you want to see every World Cup story, every football legend broken down, subscribe to 90 Minutes Plus. Because the beautiful game has no final whistle.